Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
No, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You're the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, everyone. I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate that. Gonna get going here in a moment. Gonna be entering the mind of the Anchor Baby a little bit. Just some things I found interesting. We'll run the news a little bit and get into it, okay? Gonna run it down. The world is now seeing another Sarajevo. How do you pronounce that? How do you pronounce that? Sarajevo.
And Herzegovina.
Can we get a little help?
Sarajevo.
Sarajevo. Sorry, y'all. A little interlude. The world may have seen another Sarajevo, the murder of Archduke Ferdinand, except his name is now Hardeep Singh. Playing around. Some of you history buffs may know a little bit. We'll get into a little bit of that and the goings on in the world, okay? What's up, everybody? Yes, good episode, Hake. What's up, Nathan, Johnny, Mr. Man, everybody in the chat. We'll get into some of that and your calls, 888-775-3773. We'll keep it loosey. We'll keep it goosey. That's how the show's going to go today. What's up, Yes Gunner? Welcome. So true. Speaking truth in the chat. You better hit that like button. That's one way you can support. Like the stream as you're coming in. Maybe you don't like the stream. Chat away. Enter your grievances in the live chat right now. Get it going. Jumble up the snake pit. They do love it. As much as they protest, they love it. Kind of reminds me of, well, anyways, people arguing. They'll argue, but they love you in their fallen way. Shout out to the snake pit. So, yeah, get in there, jumble it up, get distracted. It helps the engagement. Or maybe you just want to listen and comment afterwards. You can leave a comment on the video afterwards. Or you can support on Rumble, rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. You got people watching over there right now. Ohio Sentinel and Riley JM. What's up? And Hake Report. So, there's a lot going on. There's a lot I can get into, particularly court stuff. They indicted Trump again? I just saw this. More indictments coming down on Trump. It's about the documents, about the classified documents, more indictments. And I guess he's also calling for the shutdown of the government. There's a looming government shutdown, another one. And that doesn't ever turn out and nothing comes out of it. Okay? You got Republicans right now. They're having hearings. They're having hearings about the DOJ, the Department of Justice. And with these indictments coming down on Trump, now new ones on top of the election conspiracy charges and all that, the explosive ones recently, pile on the new indictments about these so-called classified documents. And so Republicans right now, they're fighting this fight. They have brought on different people to the stand to ask them, hey, that's not very freedom of you, DOJ. Merrick Garland is one of them, Attorney General Merrick Garland. He was brought on at a hearing before the House Judiciary Committee, okay? And the committee, you got the Republicans, you got Jim Jordan. You remember Jim Jordan? You've seen him before. You got Jim Jordan and others using the committee to question different actors, Merrick Garland being one of them, about the lopsided justice that many are saying is happening in this country. We've talked about it on this show, the January 6 people and beyond. Starting with Trump, right? Trump, January 6 people. You've heard the names. You've heard the excessive sentencing, okay? And great episode on the Hake Report. You definitely want to podcast it. He had a guest on. And they talked about many things. One thing, Hake wondered, how did white men become losers in their own country? How did that happen? How did Christian white men whose ancestors created the country, how did they become losers in their own country? Great talk there with his guest, 𝒔𝒂𝒎. Want to check it out, thehakereport.com. And so this upside down justice that Republicans are fighting, you got looming shutdown, Trump calling for a shutdown, make it happen, because this government is just going after Trump, he's saying, in the wrong way. So they're not going to work. Shut it down. Shut it down. But that's not going to happen. So that theme, keep that theme in mind. Useless government. Useless. Not all this talking, all this stuff. And I want to talk a little bit about this moment here with the Department of Justice, Merrick Garland, saying he will not be intimidated, basically responding to the whole inquiry here from the House Judiciary Committee. DOJ doesn't take orders from the president, says Merrick Garland. In a video that's gone somewhat viral, it's gotten some attention where he is denying any of these allegations of lopsided justice, bias, cases that were brought up. Hunter Biden, you've heard about this. Hunter Biden is being investigated. And charges seem to be coming down related to some gun charges, etc. Improper handling of those things. Is addressing the remarks leveled at the DOJ, leveled at the Department of Justice, saying he will not be intimidated. We'll watch the clip here in a moment. Because he says some interesting things regarding history. History will also kind of be a little bit of a theme today. Regarding history and the purpose of the DOJ and its founding. He goes on then to describe its founding and the philosophy underpinning the DOJ and why it's such a personal matter for him. Let's see if we can watch that, no? Let's see if we can watch it. We got the clip here from Yahoo. And we're going to go ahead and watch it here. See if we can unmute this video and check it out.
The Justice Department was founded in the wake of the Civil War and in the midst of...
Okay, we kind of, let's get the beginning. The founding of the DOJ, he says, amidst the Civil War.
The Justice Department was founded in the wake of the Civil War and in the midst of Reconstruction with the first principal task of bringing to justice white supremacists and others who terrorize black Americans to prevent them from exercising their civil rights.
Incredible already from the beginning there. I didn't know that. I didn't know that, Merrick Garland. That's an interesting piece of history. That's super interesting. He says it was started to go after white supremacists who were going after black people at the time. Civil War, Reconstruction. You got to imagine this. Civil War, the country had a civil war. And then, slavery being a topic. In contention as to, it was the main topic. Here it is, 150 years of the Department of Justice. This is from the Department of Justice. Let me see if I could pull it up here on my side. Make this easy to read. But I mean, just looking it up, in 1870, the amount of litigation involving the post-Civil War United States necessitated the expensive retention of private attorneys until Congress passed the act to establish the Department of Justice, led by the Attorney General, to handle the legal business of the United States. So interesting in the time period and all that. And Merrick Garland here is defending that original, what he says was the original philosophy, although I don't know if it's that clear. I don't want to put it past the annals of history here that he's being accurate. But it seems like it might have been a little bit more legalistic than he says. It's about going after white supremacists. But that's what he says here in this oversight hearing. This is the current Attorney General. I mean, what do we make of this?
Their civil rights.
Let's watch the rest.
The Justice Department's job then and now is to fulfill the promise that it is at the foundation of our democracy, that the law will treat each of us alike. That promise is also why I am here. My family...
So he says that promise that all will be equal before the law. That's the whole point here, right? He's stressing that the DOJ is still blind lady justice. We don't take orders from the president, okay? If you don't know, maybe it's unclear. Little civics. I mean, that's how this is supposed to work. The Justice Department, okay? The executive branch, the different branches of government, okay? Separate, meant to check each other. He's saying we're still like that, okay? We're still operating in that manner.
Fled religion.
He describes here in this moment that's some are talking about how his family fled from the Holocaust.
My family fled religious persecution in Eastern Europe at the start of the 20th century. My grandmother, who was one of 5 children, born in what is now Belarus, made it to the United States, as did 2 of her siblings. The other 2 did not. Those 2 were killed in the Holocaust.
Getting a little emotional.
There's little doubt that but for America, the same thing would have happened to my grandmother. But this country took her in, and under the protection of our laws, she was able to live without fear of persecution. That protection is what distinguishes this country from so many others.
Wow, Merrick Garland.
The protection of law, the rule of law, is the foundation of our system of government.
Incredible stuff. I mean, emotional moment here. Merrick Garland clearly cares and loves about. He clearly cares about America and loves the rule of law, and just how it really protected his family. Giving here an emotional cry here over this whole thing. Over any question that he would be anything but equal in the law. But I mean, as we all know, the fact that he even just said words like white supremacy. Let's not forget, this is the same guy saying that is America's current biggest enemy is white supremacists, terrorism from white supremacists. That's what he said. The mere fact that he even speaks in that way is proof that this is, he may believe what he's saying, but it's for show. It's shallow. It's shallow in its I don't want to say he's a shallow person. I feel like he may have deep beliefs, but those beliefs don't coincide with this justice he's talking about. Okay? Justice. This blind justice, supposedly. Because anyone knows that those words, like white supremacy, racism, aren't words that hold any meaning or bring any clarity to situations, and especially America today. They're a way to silence and a way of silencing and a way of bringing confusion to the situation, actually. It doesn't make things clear. And it's just a way of accusing and silencing people. It's these words that people use when you're saying something. Instead of engaging with the topic at hand, with whatever's going on, it's a way of shutting that down. Okay? Just the mere fact that he's even using those words. You can't use those words and say that you're about this blind justice here, okay? But that's interesting. Did anyone know that? The founding of the DOJ? I mean, I wonder about that language he's using, but I don't know if he's that far from the mark here. It may very well be this communism has been in place and working its way through America for a while. So I guess we were fine without a justice DOJ back in the day? We were just fine, huh? Maybe I feel like there was also a time when there was no education department or whatever. And I think people were fine then. People seem to be dumber now with all of our Department of Education and Department of Justice. It just seems like that's not very education. That's not very justice, America. And also, the crying, look, the little emotional crying thing over the Holocaust thing, it's like, I don't know, y'all, get over it. That's like me crying about my mom jumping the border. You know what I mean? And she was hiding. She was hiding from Border Patrol in a bush, and she told me about how she was hiding, and it was hard. That's like me crying about mama jumping the border. Did you know I am a bona fide anchor baby? My family abused the law, the 14th Amendment, fair and square, y'all. So we call it, my family called base. Base! You can't touch me. All of the fourth unelected branches of government is the downfall of this country. You know, downfall of this country. It's an interesting phrase. And I'm reading, as you know, I've been giving you excerpts from Unnecessary War, Patrick Buchanan, and the other things regarding the world wars and the times right before that. And how there were instances you think it was this battle, it was this political battle, or it was this political blunder, or it was this strike or this bombing that really affected history or was a real example of the changing attitudes of men. But it was denials or disrespects of common, decent things that men used to follow. This may be unclear for you, but let me give you an example. The blockade after the Germans surrendered. You got to understand a little bit here. If I could paint the picture. The Allied forces, basically on the winning side, if I can be brief, World War I, Germany being the losers here, being told by the world it was your fault, signed the Treaty of Versailles, you're the solely responsible for the whole thing. Anyways, the Germans said, okay, well, we surrender. It's getting tough for our people. They can't eat. People are dying. Civilians are dying. It's getting crazy. We surrender. And the Allies promised, okay, your people will be fed. Anyways, there was a blockade of supplies and food, and many starved. This was a point of anger and contention. And people said, American statesmen, British statesmen at the time said, This is a new low for Christendom that would be hard to recover from. Do you see kind of what I'm painting here? It was a disrespect to decency that was really a sign of the times. Anyways, just a little rambling that you made me think of that sugar pancake face. But it fits, you know. Merrick Garland and today and what's going on with all that. The DOJ. Just things I'm thinking about. It's going to be loosey-goosey today, y'all. Look, it's going to be loosey-goosey. We got a nice show tomorrow. Don't miss it. We're going to be taking a flight, 4 p.m. Should be a nice, long show. Got different things going on. But I'm seeing Jim Jordan here. Jim Jordan. Firebrand. Conservative. Republican. GOP. Sticking it to Merrick Garland. Can we get some footage to fit the vibe here? Oh, man. Firebrand conservatives, Jim Jordan, sticking it to Merrick Garland. I mean, when I'm seeing this, right? I'm seeing this, and
quote, Mr. Weiss has full authority to bring cases in other jurisdictions if he feels it's necessary. That was your response, Attorney General, to Senator Grassley's question on March 1st, 2023. You just referenced it when Mr. Bishop was questioning you. Only problem is he'd already been turned down by the U.S. Attorney in the District of Columbia, Mr. Graves.
Dang.
So he didn't have full authority,
Jim Jordan, obviously we're not really following what's going on, but I wanted to show you.
I had an extended...
Jim Jordan sticking it to Merrick Garland. But what's going to come out of this? What's happening? Trump is still being indicted. The courts are still against the men. It's still, what's going on? What's changing here? I feel like we keep seeing hearing after hearing of this or that. And it's just two sides just yelling. No, you're wrong. Actually, I'm right. Look at this. No, actually, my parents came in the Holocaust, and you're wrong. You're a bigot. Shut up. I don't know. Like, what's going on here, y'all? What's happening? What are you guys doing? And we got clips coming out of Chicago, New York, yelling. I will get into this later, too. Probably show you. Just yelling like, hey, you guys forgot about us. You got people in Chicago yelling at Brandon Johnson, promising to bring in all these immigrants, all these illegals. And Chicago people are like fed up. They're like, so what's the limit? Can you tell us the limit? When does it end? Do we need illegals in Martha's Vineyard? I say we need to get some money together. We need to get some money. No, this is a joke, DOJ. This is a joke, FBI. This is a joke, big tech. This is a joke. I'm not gathering combatants or people for dissident activities against the government. But wouldn't it be sick if we got a bus of them to Martha's Vineyard or whatever politician? Anchor baby gets investigated. Jeez, that was a joke. But what is even happening? We need pain to get something going. So I'll show you some of those clips, I guess, later. But I'm left wondering what's going on. Is anything going to happen? What's up, Yes Gunner? Thank you. Crocodile Tears says Yes Gunner with the super chat. Appreciate that. Thank you guys over there at Rumble. Make sure I didn't miss anybody here. These hearings are a waste. Yeah. The correct term is anti-Semite, not bigot. Thank you, Zeus. My bad. Anyways, where was I? So, where was I? Impeachments, all this stuff going on. And also, grand moves in the great game, in the great chessboard. The U.S.-Saudi Defense Pact. We got defense pacts. We got security guarantees. A story, security guarantees, huh? Sounding a little familiar. It's fresh in my mind as I'm reading about it. German Franco, Anglo-Franco security pacts, French, American security pacts. Basically, what's going on is there's talks of a defense pact with Saudi Arabia, okay? Which is an interesting thing to consider for a second here. You know, I heard this said the other day, and it's true. But to consider a defense pact with Saudi Arabia, this fascist, oligarchic society, country, nation, whatever, and at the same time being told by the proponents of this Ukraine-Russia war that this is a war of the good guys, the democracy and justice, not a war of interests and strategy, moves in the chessboard. So U.S. Saudi Arabia, basically, should this happen, the Saudi Arabia gets into a fight, gets into a war, U.S. has to fight. And that's kind of been the talk in these grand moves in Europe, NATO, etc. These tripwires being set up. Tripwires. Should this or that nation become embroiled in a war, tripwires, these pacts would be tripped, and fights would begin. It reminds me a little bit of another change in mentality of, in this case, American leadership, statesmen of the time. Woodrow Wilson, a name you know. He changed 130 years of an American tradition. Okay? For 130 years, foreign policy in America had been one way, with a farewell address from Washington himself. George Washington, going back to the beginning, 1796. Frustrated by French meddling in U.S. politics, Washington warned the nation to avoid permanent alliances with foreign nations. Permanent alliances. He saw that. He saw permanent alliances as just it's just wrong. The nation which indulges toward another in habitual hatred or in habitual fondness is in some degree a slave, said Washington. The nation which... I'm going to do the Umar Johnson, where he repeats it. The nation which indulges... Okay, we don't need to be... He said in his farewell address, 1796, the nation which indulges toward... which indulges toward another in habitual hatred or habitual fondness is in some degree a slave. This was the mentality of the leadership, of the elite of America at one point. Elite that we may agree with and liked. Okay? Isn't that interesting, though, huh? The positives and the negatives, both a lie. You slave to both. And who'd you be a slave to? You'd be a slave to these other nations. Permanent alliances. And that was the American tradition for 130 years. Woodrow Wilson, 28th president of America, oversaw America during World War I. And so he changed that, basically. World War I, it ended. The world basically said, the Western world, the Allied forces basically said, yeah, Germany, you're going to pay. And Woodrow Wilson was instrumental in just how badly Germany had to pay. His 14 points for the New World Order, for a new order in the world. So this may never happen again. This may never happen again. It's a ramble stream today. It's just what's on my mind. Hey, it's going to be loosey-goosey, y'all. You're entering the mind. Anyways, what a mess. Woodrow Wilson, okay, 14 points for the New World. Tough on Germany. He makes a pact with France. Should France ever be attacked again, America will go to war. Many say setting up World War II. There's a lot of levers of power along the way. And I've mentioned some of them, but it's a long and storied account of it. It's very interesting. Anyways, Woodrow Wilson changing history, changing American history, American tradition of no permanent alliances. It's kind of cool. I mean, I've always thought, especially original America, in that just, you know, like just, it's just a cool look of it. Just punks, but not punks, distinguished punks in the world, off doing their own thing, and becoming the best at it while they're at it. They never entered the World War I until it was Americans that were dying and attacked. Pretty much stayed out of it. And it reminds me of what's going on today. Tripwires, alliances. You know, I was teasing this earlier. It looks like we may have had our Sarajevo, capital city of Bosnia. The setting of the assassination of the Archduke of Franz Ferdinand, of Austria, which, set in motion many things that led to World War I. But honestly, many things were already in motion. This assassination of the Archduke was used politically from both sides. Archduke Franz Ferdinand. He was the presumptive to the throne in Austria-Hungary, right? And this was just an affront too far for the Austrians, who wanted to put an end to Serb plotting. What's up with the Serbs always plotting? What's up with you, the Balkans, you Slavs? What's up with you Slavs always plotting? It was after World War I that it was pretty much right after World War I that the basically the Serbs and Slavs, they got pretty much broken up, okay? Yugoslavia broke it all up. And it was the leaders of these certain Slavs, I forget who it was, who sent a letter to Hungary, who was given a bunch of Austrian land in the breakup. And basically the point is these Slavs sent a letter say on the anniversary of the murder of this Archduke, and they're like, hey, right on, y'all. That was sick. We hope to do something similar too. What's up with you Slavs always plotting? We just finished the World War I, guys. Can you quit it? It's kind of what I've been into lately, just this book and all that. So we'll be chilling and talking about this a little bit. Taking calls as well, 888-775-3773. In Canada, there was an assassination. An assassination in just recently, a couple months ago. June, I believe June or July, a man was assassinated. A presumptive to the throne was assassinated. I'm stretching it a little bit, but a name I'm somewhat familiar with growing up in Canada. An Indian man, Hardeep Singh. And now Canada, it's kind of interesting. I mean, I guess it can be missed, and it's like, okay, whatever. There's already so much going on. But Canada right now is saying that India, the Indian government, is involved in an assassination plot on a Canadian citizen, an Indian-born Canadian citizen. Like, it's kind of it's a pretty interesting claim here. It's a, accusation. Very, very interesting. I know it's just Canada. They're just up there. But India is part of BRICS. Canada, I mean, there's like, hello, like my old pastor used to say. Interesting moves in the grand game and in the chessboard here. Hardeep Singh, Indian-born Canadian citizen. And I believe what's the party he was part of? NDP leader, Canada. I'm thinking of Jagmeet Singh. Anyways. I'm talking about Hardeep Singh, an Indian-born Canadian citizen. And if you don't know, there's a very large Indian population in Canada, okay? So this Hardeep Singh, what's important about him? Well, he became a Canadian citizen. He was assassinated. How ties with India soured over Hardeep Singh Nijjar killing. And Trudeau is making some bombastic claims about India. See if we can watch something about it.
The president of...
And I see your calls coming in. Thank you for that. I will get to your calls. Just be a little patient. 888-775-3773.
Of Surrey's Guru Nanak.
Okay, Hardeep Singh, India, and a modern-day Sarajevo? No, I'm just joking.
The president of Surrey's Guru Nanak Sikh Gurdwara, Hardeep Singh Nijjar, was viewed by his community as a man of faith and family and a loyal volunteer who stepped up to serve his community. He was also a key figure in the Khalistan movement, seeking a separate state for Sikhs in India, where they are a religious minority. Nijjar came to Canada in 1997, seeking refugee status. He provided doctor verification he was tortured by police amid conflict between the Indian government and Sikh separatists. In 1998, his claim was denied. Days later, he married a BC woman who would try sponsoring his immigration, but officials rejected the application. In 2001, he appealed the decision and lost, but went on to identify himself as a Canadian citizen, settling in Surrey and running a plumbing business. In 2014, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi issued an arrest warrant for Nijjar, calling him the mastermind of the Khalistan Tiger Force, which the Indian government
A whole bunch of Indian politics that we all don't really know or care about. But yeah.
considers it.
So if you're following, Hardeep Singh, accused by the Indian government, dead. Canada accusing India government, but they're saying, no, we didn't do that. We just saying he's a terrorist. Canadian government saying we have evidence, though.
Terrorist group. He was never extradited or convicted of any crimes. Some of the allegations were deemed unsubstantiated. In 2022, the RCMP's National Security Division warned Nijjar he was under threat of assassination.
But other than that, there was no information given. Who, why, how?
1 year later, the 45-year-old would be shot to death in his pickup truck outside of the Gurdwara where he served as president. Now, with the implication of India's involvement in his killing, Nijjar's associates say the only terrorism in his life was in the way it ended.
It targeted Hardeep Singh Nijjar, but it also targeted the Sikh community all over Canada.
Oh, so it is Sikh. So it is pronounced Sikh. He just said Sikh. I always said Sikh. And I heard people tell me it was Sikh. I didn't want to believe it.
That you are not safe, that we are targeting the Sikhs.
Oh, he just said Sikh. Wait, hold on.
Targeted Hardeep Singh Nijjar, but it also targeted the Sikh community all over Canada. That you are not safe, that we are targeting the Sikhs.
Wait, what? Is that two different people? We're not targeting the Sikhs, we're targeting the Sikhs.
This is an
This is a mess. See, this is the problem, y'all. Now look at what Canada, all the Canadian friends I had, they're just simple. Like, now they got to deal with Indian murder plots and politics, and their prime minister, because it's a Canadian citizen, right? And now their prime minister accusing India, who's part of BRICS in grand moves in the grand game. It's like, bud, I just wanted to go out for some darts. I just want to go out for some darts with my buds, okay? What's up with all this Sikh talk?
Act of terror.
No.
Sikh singular, Sikh plural, maybe.
No arrests have been made in Nijjar's killing. 💐💏, Global News.
Global News. So, souring ties in these great powers. Are they great powers? Is Canada a great power? Or is it a colony? Is it a great power? Oh, man. India responded furiously. Hold on. It completely rejected the allegations, calling them absurd. Both have expelled one of the other diplomats, and it's unclear how they now pull back from the brink. The brink They've expelled each other's diplomats. Does that mean no more? Like, where's all this Indian immigration coming from? Over in Canada, it's changed so much, especially recently. I visited this past Christmas. It's changed so much in just the few years I've been here in America. Mr. Trudeau said Canada would always defend freedom of expression while acting against hatred. In an uncharacteristically sharp statement, the Indian government said it had strong concerns about continuing anti-India activities of extremist elements in Canada, promoting secessionism, inciting violence against Indian diplomats. So, time to annex Canada? I got Justin Fullerton, California, on the air with me to talk about that and maybe more. Appreciate that, sir. You're on the air.
Hi, thanks for taking me. Yeah, I've never been to Canada. It's always been a dream of mine to go to like Whistler or Vancouver. But I definitely think that up north there has been never like before a kind of unity that conservatives and a lot of people have had. I just kind of I don't see like where America has failed to annex.
You're saying what type of unity are you talking about?
Well, kind of like the unity, like where it comes where we annex them into our union. Why have we not done that yet? I mean, people have asked us to do it for Mexico, which is fine, but why not about Canada?
Because they're a sovereign nation.
They're a sovereign nation, yeah, but they're
now,
more.
Are you talking about imperialism or colonies? That time is done.
No, they were more loyal to the Queen. I think that's why Canada never wanted to be part of the United States.
I think so. Also, I think it's a little simpler. Like, they're just not part of that American story. Okay, how can I explain this? I mean, they say all nations are starting out of the barrel of a gun. Okay, and the shots were, I guess, the Revolutionary War for the Americans, and now that barrel of a gun has grown to a population of a nation of hundreds of millions of people. I mean, Canada. They were a little different. They're like a European Union. The French went up there and the English, and the Scottish. Like I believe America let in all those people afterwards. Like the Scottish and the Irish or stuff like that. The Italians. So I don't know. They just have like a different origin. Yeah, definitely the connection to the Queen. Sorry, just kind of talking about Canada a little bit. What do you want to say about it? Annexing. Why don't we annex it? Well, why do you think we should?
Why should we not? As I was saying, like, how come there's not been a like when you saw the truckers recently that it came out for their values in Justin's opposition to them, you started to see that there and even with the death of the Queen, there is a country above us that's more aligned to what our values are that would actually help us. And if we want to annex anyone, that's great. Go for Mexico and Canada. Like there should be.
Yeah, we got to liberate Canada.
Yeah,
I'm with it. Like if we had what you're asking for is a big change too. As much as the Canadians, especially lately, it seems like there's a sect of Canadians who seem to be identifying with. Starting with the trucker protest, COVID, blah, 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 identifying with the more of the dissident people in America, Trump. But even then, I don't know if people, you think it's like, let me just grab all the Canadians and put them next to me. I think you would find not relating to them totally. As much as you guys would be like, hey, yo, right on Trump, and like, yo, memes, memes about the left and memes about liberals, you'll find that, I think you'll find, them disagreeing with, culturally on many things. You know what I mean? You'll find yourself arguing about guns and about, just different. Am I making some sense here? Like,
do you think Canada leans more left today because of Justin, or is that traditionally or historically like the way Canada's stance has always been, like loyal to the Queen?
Well, liberal. That's just an interesting term now to look at it with different eyes. Because if you think about it, like everyone's kind of liberal. Like you think conservatives today, they're actually the liberals of yesterday. So, but to answer your question a little bit here, yes, they've had this loyalty to the Queen, but I think their liberal, especially modern kind of liberal nature, has been around for a while with their rejection of the church. But that same rejection kind of was
Catholic
in America
Church.
as well.
Catholic Church.
Yeah.
Catholic Church, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
So it's kind of like varying levels. I mean, something very interesting that Hake's guest said today about Russian attitudes today. They're just, they're very similar, honestly. Canadian, American, Russian attitudes of the public, they're very similar. You'll see the differences in the age cohorts. You know, the younger ones being in the age, in the different ages, in the different ages of the people. Younger ones are more, they're okay with the LGBT, et cetera. They're just kind of behind like 20 years.
Yeah, the corruption has infiltrated a very conservative Christian country that dates back to Orthodox, Christianity in the region for like centuries. And I think there's been lots of, changes, but it's definitely becoming more apparent that, even if they're behind us, they're eventually going to catch up to all of our corruption. And I think someone on Hake's show was talking about how there was Bush allowing for a clear definition of marriage between a man and a woman. And then later, obviously it gets degraded down to Obama's, rainbow lights on the White House to celebrate.
I like your, but I like your style, very Napoleon, very Kaiser Bismarck. Okay, you want a nation from sea to sea. Except we're talking about north and south. We're not talking east to west in this case. We're talking America unified from the north to the south. We'd be a power to. You'd change the balance of power and maybe keep some peace, but I don't know.
Tell me why we should build any factories in China where it's local down south, where there's people willing to work up north, bring the work down south.
It would be a very different country. It would be different. It would be very Napoleon, right? Very for power, not for the preservation of peoples. Because you're okay with a coast to coast America union, so we'd be unifying with the Mexicans. And are you talking South America? Let's get the whole hemisphere.
Not NAFTA, something different. Not NAFTA, because NAFTA is corrupt. But I think something that would empower the ethnic peoples of their region. And if you look at it, people are not, for instance, white. Other than a Democrat Southern person, like earlier was talked about in Hake's report today, the people that in our America are of diverse nature. Yes, we have the French, the English, the Spanish, just like in Canada, but the difference is a lot of the cultures haven't came together over common trade. So there should be and labor. And so there should be something that empowers the people so there's not like a whole sinful process of migration. There should be people that are empowered where they live to have factories and jobs and opportunities where, if it's coming from Canada, America, or wherever, or Mexico, but it all works together synergistically. You know what I'm saying?
No, I do know what you're saying. There's some movements towards that with some trade deals and all that. But what you're talking about specifically is an American Union over here, and I just don't see it. You're talking about conquest, and so if someone's going to do it, then I guess we're supposed to. We suppose America does it, and so then what does that mean for us? It means the people of power right now grow to new levels, just new levels. And these are the same people who are trying to jail Trump, trying to jail the J6 people. I don't know if, I don't know.
No, they would be like the European
I don't like
Union.
that balance of power right now.
I would think like European Union. It wouldn't be like more or less one type of country,
No, but that's my point here in this hypothetical. which is like, how is this ever going to happen? The only feasible way is conquest. So one nation makes it happen, either economically or by force. So you're saying America. And so if you're telling me you want Merrick Garland on steroids.
See, Merrick Garland, no. He's the R word. He's very weird.
You want the current order on steroids.
No.
You want to give them all. You want to give them, all of America from the north coast to the south coast.
The only way it's going to happen, feasibly, I think, is not so much conquest. I think it's actually an understanding that their citizens are lacking something, and it needs to be addressed. And some resources are lacking, so other countries have a power of buying or selling, and they can actually.
It's just not practical. You're talking about starting a war. You're talking about invading. You're talking about putting troops in Canada.
Preventing war where there's no need for war. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but it's not. It doesn't seem like it's based in reality, what you're talking about.
How come somebody has to travel so far away from where there's a problem, where there's people that want to produce something to be sold locally without having to travel, like you said, to China? That makes no sense. Everything made in China doesn't make sense.
Totally.
That's very far.
That's true. Gutting of our industrial capacity.
We have it here for our own oil. Canada has whatever their resources, Mexico themselves too. The point is, everything needs to be addressed and discussed, not like, well, we're just going to have an influx of people that are desperate and running away.
From Canada?
From Canada, from Mexico, and from the U.S. There's people leaving in flux more than the past, I've seen, in 10 years. They're very much so, in flux. People have changed their addresses. Probably the listeners know this. How many times they've moved. There are people that just can't stay still for long.
I know. Look at me. I should have stayed in Canada and just made it better.
Well, why'd you come here? What made you think that it was a great idea to journey here?
Demonic impulse. I thought I would live like a king in Texas. I saw my American passport and I was getting all trumped up. I was all for Trump.
Oh.
I had been listening to JLP a couple of years. I saw my American passport. I was like, that's right. I'm an American citizen. And so I looked up myapartments.com and I was like, I could live like that in Texas. And so I was going to go. And then I was like, let me just see LA. Let me just see Jesse. Let me just say hi. And now I'm here. So yeah, probably demonic impulse, but I'm making the best of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, Justin, appreciate your call, man. I hear you. Your Napoleonic tendencies are coming through. You want a U.S. nation, a U.S. empire. This is empire talk, my friend. I don't see U.S. troops going into Canada anytime soon. I don't see any purpose for that.
Going to the cartel
they already
in
have
Mexico very, very soon.
Canada's already.
The cartel's going to get out of Mexico pretty soon. Yeah,
that's a different thing. The looming American cartel war.
There's a consequence.
That's in the future.
There's a consequence. Yeah, nobody plans.
But Canada will
definitely.
Look, my point is simply Canada will already lets us put our troops there, missiles, whatever. Like we're cool. Like we don't need it. U.S. State Department. I don't see them doing that anytime soon. Justin, man, appreciate your call. Call me again. If anything, I see U.S. getting all involved with this Indian Sarajevo. Anyways, I got Scott, Arizona. We're just talking mess today. I got callers today. I appreciate my callers. Thank you, Scott, Arizona, on the air. Appreciate it.
What's up, Nick? How you doing today?
All is well, sir. It's loosey, it's goosey, but I'm having fun.
Hey, yeah, that's the way to do it, right? Hey, I had a little riddle question joke type thing. So what's the difference between a witch praying to the devil for all of her dreams and desires, or a little old church lady praying to God to keep all her friends and family safe?
Scary stuff. Give me the witch. Give me the witch. I was saying this the other day. I was driving by some of these Latino churches out here in Hollywood, and they go all night, 10 p.m., 11 p.m. screaming, and I'm seeing this little Guatemalan lady with a tambourine, and she's shaking it. She's like, yeah, and I'm like, wait a second. This is some demonic. This is scary. Give me the witch. Right? I see no difference, sir. honestly. And I got to do an expose of these Hispanic churches out in the hood. They're creating little psychos. I'm telling you, these Guatemalan mamas with the tambourines, they're raising little psychos.
I get it. And effectively, there's no difference, right? In effect, but ultimately, there's one difference. The witch knows she's worshiping the devil.
Ooh, wait, you think so? You're saying the difference is the witch knows she's worshiping the devil. Interesting.
Yeah, whereas the little church lady is lying to herself and thinks that she's worshiping God.
Totally deceived.
Right? Which makes you think, which one's more dangerous?
Interesting. The church lady. Honestly, on that topic, though, it's like, does the witch even know? I wonder if the witch even truly knows the depths of the evil. Let's say there's a witch person. I'm talking, let's think witch 2023. Okay, well, I don't know, Instagram, witchy vibes, XOXO witchy vibes, that kind of witch. But let's take it even further. Let's say somewhere in America, in some basement, there are people, or a woman in this hypothetical, who says, I am worshiping Satan. Satan, let me do your will. I wonder if even that person knows, because I wonder if they really saw the depths. I don't know if anybody who truly sees evil would, you know what I mean? Truly sees evil, because it's like when you see it in yourself, you want to let it go.
Right. That's an interesting way to take the conversation, because even though they know they're blatantly worshiping the devil, right? But do they even understand what the extent of that is? What they're empowering? It's an interesting concept. Yeah, perhaps the witch is even in a self-delusion, thinking that the devil's somehow something positive.
Think about Jesse thumping, for example. When you Bible thump, when you thump anything, you know how you can thump anything?
Yeah.
Well, because people here know about Jesse and the network and all that, I feel like many are, or even just Bible thumping, I feel like many can relate to that. Like they've done it themselves.
Yeah.
But I also think most people, I don't know about most people, but those who notice their Jesse thumping, Bible thumping, or whatever, when you see that, you want to stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that same concept, I think it's the same for all. I think you out there saying, Satan, let me do your will. You're thinking that it's love. Like, think about Satanists. They'll say, yeah, I'm a Satanist. I believe it's Satan. But they say, but when you look into the underpinnings of their ideology, it's, do unto others as if they hurt you, you hurt them back. But you believe that's moral, and you believe that that's love.
Yeah, I think that there are people out there that do understand the depth, and they still choose it, though. I do think they are out there.
There might be. I've just never. I don't know if I've met one, but I don't know. I really just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess when it really comes down to it, I've only heard stories and entertained my imagination to say that they're real. But ultimately, I don't know if I've ever met or witnessed one myself.
You know what? I think it could be real, because using the example of ourself. The same way when you see that you're thumping or whatever and you want to let that go, there's also people who, I guess, sort of see that or whatever. And I don't know. You just go with the thoughts because you're just so used to it. You love it. You know how you can fall in love with your hell?
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's something like that, something along the lines with that, following that to its logical conclusion, you get like a level 10 witch or something.
Yeah, and I think that the delusion comes from some sort of idea. There you go. She's maxed out.
Yeah.
She's maxed out, right?
If you follow that path. Okay, anyways.
If it was an RPG, then
exactly.
Wicca 100.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that you bring up a point that even in order to follow the devil blatantly, you have to have some sort of lie in your mind that he has your back, not his own, right?
Exactly.
So, you're going to benefit out of it and not suffer from it in some way. And,
right.
And obviously that's not true.
Right. The whole thing is a Faustian bargain from the get-go.
Oh, yeah.
All lose, all die, all suffer, so.
Right. Yeah.
So it leads me to believe that even the witches claiming Satan are in that Faustian bargain thinking, okay, well, this is love, or this is positive, or this is love for me and love for my own, whatever.
Yeah. Right. Just some sort of like self-delusion of I'm going to get without nothing being taken. It's an interesting comment. But yeah, that's all I had today.
Thank you, sir. Interesting stuff.
So
appreciate you calling me, man.
Have a good one.
I say a tacit ban on all Guatemalan. You know what? All ladies of all races, especially diminutive and especially with tambourines and yelling in a church at 10 p.m. Ban them all. Thank you, Scott. Call me again.
There you go. Yep.
Scary stuff. Scary stuff. Anybody go to these churches? Anybody hit up them hooping and hollering Hispanic churches? They get down. But it's I don't know, it's scary. It's scary. And they're in the hood. And all over Hollywood. They're like clubs. It's like a club. You're driving down Hollywood. It's 10 p.m. and you got people filing out of a building all yelling and dancing, and you're like, oh, okay, it's a club. That's a bar. That's a church. That's a Iglesia de Santa Cruz, the Iglesia de Misericordia de Santa. They always have a big flower, big name. Church of Grand Mercy of the First Coming, something like that. Oh, man! Speaking of all this stuff and nothing changing, I mean, just look at this. They don't want to say anything else about the Great Wars, Woodrow Wilson. Nah, whatever. You know, Armenia, just another one of these tripwires, heating up conflict over Armenia, Azerbaijan. Stuff that's interesting. You know what? Speaking of all these nations and its leaders, we'll do this clip I was about to show you after, but let me show you something a little lighter, a little bit just on the lighter side. Turkish President Erdogan. He met with Elon and Elon's kids, and he asks Elon, the Turkish president here, the Erdogan. How do you say that? Erdogan. He met with Elon. Why did they meet? I don't know. Elon meets Erdogan. Erdogan invites, in fact, Elon Musk to build his next Tesla factory in Turkey. Shaking hands, rubbing shoulders, grand moves in the great game. Nice. Elon Musk making it happen. Meets with the president here in an interesting moment. He asks him, where's his wife? Where's your wife, man? Oh, no. My audio's all weird. I think I can fix that, though. It should be an easy fix. Apologies. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Fixed in a moment. It's a NASCAR pit stop over here on Anchor Baby Show. So he's going to ask him in a different language, so I guess it's translated. And then Elon Musk responds, where is your wife? Turkey's president asks Elon Musk in awkward meeting.
It is your wife?
She's in San Francisco. But we're separated. I take care of him mostly.
Did you miss it? He says, she's in San Francisco. He says nervously. Why are you so nervous? Why? He says nervously. And then he clarifies what everybody knows, at least some people know. We're separated. I take care of him, but we're separated. I take care of him mostly. Nice zoom in here from the camera or from whoever posted this. Very comedic. Zoom in on the Turkish president's face.
I take care of him mostly.
Showing a little love to the little tyke.
He's a bit shy.
He's a bit shy. Here's a soccer ball for the little youngin'.
X, lick the ball.
X.
His name is X. The little boy's name is X. I wonder what the Turkish president thinks about this. These youngins, these young people, man. This is who's these are the inheritors of the world, Turkish president, and the son named X.
You'll get friendly.
Please.
Please, he says, please accept my a gift from the Turkish president to young X, Elon Musk, who has many baby mamas. Elon Musk is black. I know people already made this joke. He really is black. He really is black. But baby mamas, he's got multiple. Sons, he's got many. I think only sons, I believe. Only sons. But he's got multiple sons with multiple baby mamas. He's got ladies in different area codes. And that's a little bit of a culture shock for the Turkish president here. I found that very amusing. Very amusing, okay? Turkish president, I mean, I'm sure he's wondering. Breakdown of the family, right? You know, he's got his Emin? Is it Emine Erdogan? Emine Erdogan, the wife of Recep Tayyip Erdogan, First Lady of Turkey. I wonder how many years they've been married. Probably enough. Married in 1978. 4 children. Does the president of Turkey have any sons? He has an eldest son, a second eldest son, and then a daughter, and then 2 daughters. Stayed married since 1978. 2 sons. Real men make boys first, right on. And then I guess maybe he became a little sweeter in life. Came out with 2 daughters. Is that how it works? Do you become sweeter in life and then you pump out the daughters? Is that how it works? Well, I guess you don't do the pumping. Anyways, this is Emine Erdogan, his lovely wife, who gave him 2 sons, 2 daughters. All sons on Elon Musk's side. Someone, does he have a trick? Elon Musk, pray, do tell. Do you have a trick or a method or a technique? Please, Elon Musk. The world wants to know. The men of the world do not wish to be, they want to have sons so that they may call the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and they don't have to go through the rigmarole where it's real men make boys first and you made a daughter, and it's like, oh, okay, that's embarrassing. Now you can never call the Jesse Lee Peterson show. The world wants to know, Elon Musk, what's the move? Is there a move? Where do I point? Zeus, Florida. Let's move on. Zeus, Florida, on the air. Thank you for your call.
What's going on, Nick? How are you?
All is well, Zeus. Loosey-goosey, but we're doing our thing. How are you?
All right. I'm amazing. Just chilling, enjoying the day.
Right on.
So I called for originally to talk about something related to the Russell Brand thing last night, and I know you talked about it throughout the week, and I haven't really called or whatever, but last night I was on Twitter, and I saw something where it was like the headline was, Elon targeted for not canceling Russell Brand.
Yes.
X refuses request from government. And when I saw that, I thought about like how you've been talking about it, and like I am not a fan of Russell Brand. I don't listen to him. Like I have no real opinion on the guy. I don't watch his stuff or nothing. But when I heard like the accusations and stuff, immediately I went to he's probably not guilty of it. It's just an attack. But when I saw this yesterday, the thing I think is, why is the government getting involved? Because like he's being accused of the R word, right? And do they get involved in like other people, like common people that get accused of this? They're not going on to Twitter or X and being like, hey, you need to cancel their account. This man's been accused of some low-level person.
Yep.
So to me, that screams suspicious stuff. And like it's like a little article, not an article, but like a post. And in it says the government's motive is to pressure Elon and X into blindly joining the media's coordinated attack on Brand. And so to me, that just screams a hit job, an attack. And I think you were talking about that. And so
yeah, I've been saying this. It's clearly, it has to be. I've been saying this. It just definitely looks like it. You got to understand the timing. It's always about the timing with these things. And you know, I was reminded of Brett Kavanaugh. You know, you talked about Elon. Elon has all these. The DOJ is investigating his companies. Like, you don't have enough diversity or whatever's going on with your companies. The SEC coming down on him. It's all the timing. It's always the timing with these things. If you don't know, chat, I'm referring to Elon buying up X, well, Twitter at the time, and all that. It's the timing.
And that's one of the things, like, I think about. So, like, that guest on the Hake show, I think someone asked him something about something, and he was saying, like, you don't see them trying to control Elon, or he said something of how, like, Elon's white and they're not trying to control him. And I think this is one of those things where they're trying to control him.
Can you say that again? Who was saying that about Elon?
Hake's guest on the
oh yeah,
show earlier.
Hake had a guest today on his show. Definitely check it out. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I definitely got to go back and watch it again. You were saying?
And that's the thing.
What
like,
did the guest say?
I don't remember word for word.
No problem.
But essentially, someone had asked him about the difference between, like, or he was trying to say how, like, people try to claim, like, the Jews control the white people, and he's like, you don't see them trying to control Elon because he's so powerful and this and that. And I think this is one of those things where they are trying to control him. And in my opinion, this is, and obviously, do I know? Obviously not. I'm some low-level person. I don't know what goes on in the government. But I heard one time.
But you heard one time?
I heard one time when I was watching a podcast where that Beta Destiny was debating Fuentes.
Yeah.
And Fuentes brought up this thing, and that Beta Destiny was like, they don't control Elon. And he brought up this. And then think about the ADL. What has the ADL done? They've attacked Elon, too. And so one thing I think that
it's been a coordinated piece ever since the taking over of Twitter. It's been this coordinated attack against Tesla, against all this stuff. Think Trump.
I agree.
Trump, 2016.
They're wanting to investigate
It's
him.
always the timing. Trump, loved by all in rap songs. I mean, come on. That's prime example. And then it's been a fallout ever since. And then it's the turning. It's
not a coincidence. You know what I mean?
Not.
There's no way it's a coincidence. And one thing that, like, I guess you guys have had two of these types of people, like, recent weeks or whatever, when you guys interview them. And whenever you guys ask them about this stuff, they always kind of play it dumb and deny stuff. And what it reminds me of is whenever you have the black callers call in, and when you clearly say this is what's going on within your community, they play dumb and try to act like these people aren't to blame or they haven't done anything wrong. And that's just what it reminds me of. And I that's what I think about whenever they do this, like, sidestep, you know, because we all, maybe we all don't, but I clearly see this, and I clearly see some sort of attack, and I clearly see there's powerful people behind it, and these powerful people have something in common. And I just think it's funny because, like, think about who else they attack, like, and who knows, it may not be related, but, like, JLP's been demonetized on YouTube. I don't know if Hake has been, but, like, other podcasts like Fresh and Fit have been demonetized, especially after they had that debate between Beta Destiny. And so I just think it's not a coincidence this stuff is happening, and people can play dumb and want to keep looking at those shadows on the wall.
Yeah, man.
If you really keep your eyes open, you can see this stuff. And
yeah,
I'm not trying to convince anybody.
Get out of the cave. I just wanted to jump in here. Don't forget what you're saying, but totally get out of the cave. And what an example of the cave is what you're talking about, these blacks with the whataboutism. The thing is, it's like you can argue about, because I had this recently on my show, I really want to make this point. You could argue about, well, the whites do it too, or you got the proportions wrong, okay? It's not all blacks, it's not this many, it's not as much as you're saying, blah, blah, blah. But that just proves that you're in the cave looking at the shadows because let's say I'm wrong or people are wrong about how common it is. That's the wrong fight. You should turn around and say, well, however it is, it's evil what's going on, and we got to look at ourselves.
I agree. And one thing is, like, whenever you discuss this, it always becomes bigotry or anti-Semitism because you're talking about different, like, race or whatever. And the way I see it is I don't have anger towards any black person when stuff like that happens, like that thing where they hit the guy on the bike, or when you see videos of them robbing places or just robbing people. I don't have anger towards the blacks. Mm-hmm. And the thing with the Jews, I don't have anger towards Jewish people, right? I just don't like seeing all this evil. I see where it's going, and in my mind, we got to fix it, regardless of, even if it's white people, even if it's Mexicans. it's evil, and we must correct it and fix it, or we're all screwed. Because what you do to others, you're doing to yourself. And that's the one thing I think of. And it's funny that this all, like, we talk about this stuff, right? So I recently talked to my mom, and she told me that my grandma did one of those, I think it's like 21andMe, one of those DNA cotton swab things, right?
Yes.
And she got
You
back
did that
the results.
for your results or your mother's results?
My grandma's results.
Grandma's, gotcha.
And, like, my grandma and my mom, they're all from Mexico, right? I'm not an American. I was born here. I don't have any affiliations with Mexico. Like, I'm just saying that right now. But, like, my grandma got back her results, and she's 2% Jewish, which isn't much, right?
Oh, yeah. I feel like I remember you might have told me that, or maybe not. Okay, so Jewish confirmed, Zeus. How's it feel?
Yeah. It doesn't make a difference to me because I don't identify with any nationality, any race, any religion, any political leaning. I identify as a human being that serves God and does my best to serve good as a result of serving God. So I have no hatred towards any of these people. And I I think like Hassan tried to pull it where he has some Jewish stuff. Him talking about it,
You're both you guys in the family.
Yeah, you can't call me anti-Semite for talking about this. I'm one of you guys.
Exactly.
I'm one of them boys.
Look, I appreciate your measured and honorable approach to all of this, but I say just take it and run, man. Squeeze everything you got out of that 3%, my friend.
It's 2%, but I will. I'm gonna try to get some better like percentages of
Get
loans
the bag and use it for good.
Yeah, and then if we have time, I just want to talk about one more thing.
All right, go ahead.
If that's cool with you. So your last caller was talking about witches.
Yes.
And I have some experience with witches. So
do tell.
I would say about 2018, I started a quote-unquote spiritual journey, right? And at the beginning of that spiritual journey, I started dating this witch who lived in the mountains in western New Mexico. And, you know, she kind of took on a...
Like a Mexican witch? So is it like Santeria?
No, she was white.
Okay,
but she lived in the mountains western New Mexico by chance. And I met her by chance. And I started going and visiting her, hanging out with her and all this stuff. And so, like, she kind of, in a way, mentored me. I learned some things from her. Interesting things, crazy things. And how he was talking about, like, the witch serving Satan or whatever. She didn't serve Satan. Like, there's witches who believe they serve the light side. And then there's witches who believe they serve the dark side, right? White magic, black magic, all this stuff. But an interesting thing is she didn't really have a great opinion of Yahweh, the so-called God of the Bible. But I did learn some interesting things from her, and like I learned about like the tarot and just different things.
Tarot?
And, like
that's not
tarot.
Tarot.
Yeah, I guess it's pronounced tarot. Whenever I say tarot, she's like, it's pronounced tarot.
Gotcha.
She was pretentious like that. But one thing is she didn't see herself as evil. She didn't see herself as serving the devil. She saw herself as a light worker, love and light, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I just thought you guys were kind of talking about that. And I don't know. I just think it's kind of funny because a lot of people, especially Christian conservative types, when they hear witch or when they hear tarot or they hear anything like that, then automatically their brain goes to evil. And some people get scared. And it's, I don't know. I don't think it's something to really be scared about. And in the end, she wasn't, in my opinion, that bad of a person. Like, she was interesting. She definitely had a personality, but she wasn't like worshiping the devil knowingly anyway. Maybe she was doing it unknowingly. Who knows? I don't know. But I just thought about that when you guys were talking. And I myself have done some research into like the esoteric, into like the Golden Dawn, into Aleister Crowley, into all that stuff because I'm just like a guy who likes to research things, understand them.
High level occultist.
Yeah.
I'm like a pretty high level silent prayer though, so I'm not scared.
Well,
I'm not scared to know which.
Well,
I followed that skill
neither
tree to
deny-
its conclusion.
I would neither deny nor confirm that I'm a high level occultist. All I will say is I have knowledge of it, and I don't know, like it's just interesting at the beginning of that spiritual journey, and now I will openly say I serve God, and like I don't know, it's just interesting how things work out, and like when you really let go and trust God, and like I don't know, He's taking care of me, so.
Right on, Zeus.
Well,
thank you.
Perhaps the journey began with, dating a witch and reading this stuff, but I don't know. Here's where I'm at now, and I don't know. Like I said, I serve God, and I do my best to serve good and not, be someone who has hate in their heart. So
no mo witches.
I don't know. No mo. Actually, I met a few out here in Florida, and
what happened? What happened to no mo witches? We literally just did a pact on that.
Well, I'm saying I met some out here, and they were actually more questionable of character than she was. So,
well, right on,
but
man.
That's a different story for a different day.
Right on, Zeus, man. Call me again, sir.
Yes, sir. I'll talk to you later.
Take care. Moving the wheels. Yeah, we're gonna stop all that hate.
I love the Jews. I love the Jews. I love Jewish people and the things they do.
Thank you, Kanye. Thank you, Kanye. Okay, so where do I want to go now? What do I want to do next? You know, he mentioned that running over. They tried running over that person. What did he mention? Zeus mentioned that it was like a hit and run. These teens, we got teens out here, and the teens, they filmed themselves running over this man on a bike, 64-year-old man who succumbed to his injuries. Las Vegas teens, where Andreas Probst, I don't know how to pronounce that, Probst, Andreas Probst, 64-year-old, was killed in a hit and run. Here's the update, though, because you guys already know the story a little bit. Teen driver appears to intentionally hit and kill retired police chief in viral video. Laughing teenagers filmed themselves deliberately plowing a stolen car into a retired police chief, Andreas Probst, in a fatal Las Vegas hit and run that left his widow furious, etc. I played you the video, a little bit of it. The man was just on a bike. Morning bike ride. Teenagers, the teens, they struck him and then fled. Okay. His family is making some commentary here, though. Andreas Probst run over by two youths who drove over him for fun. His daughter, Andreas Probst's daughter, is making a commentary here we're going to watch. Hold on. What are they doing with the teens here? Mother of teens charged with murder. Wow. Mother of the teens? The two Las Vegas teens charged with murder as well. Hold on, we're going to get the full report here. Let's get a little recap. How about it? A little recap. Then we'll watch what the daughter had to say about this. The daughter of the slain Andreas Probst. Probst, whatever.
To show teens intentionally plow a stolen car into an unsuspecting bicyclist in Las Vegas, killing him. Now, that victim has been identified as the former police chief of Bell, California.
Tonight, those teens are in custody and are both facing murder charges. Chris Wolf is live in the news center tonight with the latest. Chris.
Micah, MB, a shocking crime in Las Vegas, a viral video, and a California connection. Both teenagers are now in custody, and prosecutors want to charge them as adults. Ready? Yeah. The viral video, which surfaced on social media, shows a driver and his passenger intentionally ramming a bicyclist in Las Vegas on August 14th. Detectives say the car is stolen. The footage is too graphic to reveal in its entirety, but the recording shows the cyclist fly off his bike and slam to the ground.
Knocked out! Get out of here.
Authorities say the video helped them make not one but two arrests in the deadly hit and run.
A cowardly act that in my 22 years of law enforcement left me personally appalled.
The victim, who did not survive his injuries, was later identified as 64-year-old Andy Probst, the former police chief of Bell, California. He was biking around 6 a.m. when he was fatally hit. Following tips, police in Vegas initially arrested a 17-year-old boy they identify as the driver. He has a criminal history, according to other media outlets. Tuesday, authorities announced the arrest of a second teenager they identify as the passenger. And prosecutors want to move both murder suspects into the adult system.
In the criminal justice system, if you are a minor and you are eligible to be charged with the crime of murder, you are automatically sent to the adult system. I am confident that that is what is going to happen in this case.
Andy's life was robbed by two individuals who did not believe that lives of others matter. We believe that Andy's murder
That's the daughter.
is a direct result of society's decayed family values.
Ooh, we're going to get into her comments in a moment here. So, the teens were charged with murder. The mother was not. The mothers were not charged with murder. I was mistaken here. The headline is just talking about them breaking their silence. Mothers of teens charged with murder for intentionally striking bicyclists share horror. So it's just that they broke their silence. And the mother of the 17-year-old driver has spoken out to 8 News Now about her disbelief at what her son has allegedly done. I don't know why he did this, she said. I don't know if God can forgive this, she continued. Interesting. God-fearing family. According to 8 News Now, the driver has an extensive criminal record within the juvenile system. He was arrested on the day of the hit and run, but it took police 5 days to find and arrest the passenger who filmed the incident. Ultimately, the 16-year-old was tracked down and arrested, etc., etc. So, that's the mother. Don't know why he did this. I wonder if she really has no idea. She might have some idea. You know what I mean? I think parents know. They have some idea. After, I don't know, doing the forgiving myself, seeing it, the calls on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, years now of this kind of experience, I think in general parents know. And, about their hand in how the child turns out. It's not like a mystery. And yet, at the same time, it's also common to hear parents say, well, I did my best. I gave you everything. And look at how you repaid me. So the news here is also focusing on the comments of the daughter. Let's watch her comments here. But a little bit of the mood on the reporting here. A little bit on the mood behind the reporting of the story. Here's one headline, USA Today. Hit and run of an ex-police chief. Shocking video, a frenzy of online hate. And the article describes when Andy Probst was struck, the arrests of the juveniles in question, but also on the online harassment and frenzy of online hate. The incident sparked an online frenzy of harassment toward a local paper for its coverage of the story. A post to X of the Las Vegas Review-Journal's initial headline, which read, "Retired police chief killed in bike crash." I remarked on this as well. I reported when this headline from the Las Vegas Review-Journal wrote in bike crash. An interesting way of describing the situation. The post skyrocketed to national attention when ex-owner Elon Musk shared it, adding, "An innocent man was murdered in cold blood while riding his bicycle. The killers joke about it on social media. Where is the media outrage? Now you begin to understand the lie." Right on, Elon Musk. And so there's online frenzy of hate now because of these online attacks against this Sabrina Schnur, reporter who wrote the story. Oh no, all this hate. What are we going to do about this hate? The daughter, Andy Probst's daughter, I don't think she likes the hate. I don't think she's cool with the hate. Talking about Taylor Probst's daughter, Andreas Probst's daughter, spoke at a press conference. And, here are her comments. Shall we watch? Let me see if I can get them. Hold on. There it is. How long is this? Okay, we got the clip. Taylor Probst daughter of the man killed in this situation, speaks to the public. Let's watch.
Bear with me, guys. This is not something we've ever really done before.
Seems a little low. Usually this is louder. We need like one of these little, what we need is one of these little boosts, like a gain boost thing on this laptop. So that when I show people stuff, that'd be nice. Something like that.
Bear with me, guys. This is not something we've ever...
Yeah, that's way too low.
Which is the prosecution.
These people film this like super low. That's the problem. That's the problem. Should I just get one, a Chrome extension to boost volume on the air live? Should I do some of this? Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. I'm doing some live tech stuff. And it's probably inadvisable doing this live. Okay. But we need the volume boosted. And I think I got it. The power of technology. Okay, we got Taylor. We got Taylor on deck. We got the booster, volume booster. Let's rock and roll.
Bear with me, guys.
See if I can boost that more.
We've ever really done before, but we are devastated.
Sorry, y'all. Don't mean to be. Anyways, we'll just watch it. We're gonna just deal with it, y'all. Listen closely. We got Taylor.
Bear with me, guys. This is not something we've ever really done before, but we are devastated by the senseless murder of Andy. Andy's life was robbed by two individuals who did not believe that lives of others matter. We believe that Andy's murder is a direct result of society's decayed family values and the strong effects that social media has on our youth. We as a family in no way feel that Andy's murder was based on race or profession. It was a random act of violence. We ask you to not politicize or use Andy's murder to fuel political agendas or to create cultural wars. Now, you are familiar with how Andy died, but let me tell you a little bit about how he lived. He was a man of honor and integrity. He spent 35 plus years in law enforcement and was a pillar in the community. He was a Little League dad, an honorary member of Girl Scouts, shout out to Troop 149, and he was always there for the various activities we'd get into as a family. His colleagues remember him as a real-life Pee Wee Herman. He was a jokester, a prankster, and always had a way to make you laugh.
I want to comment already. We're almost done. Oh, come on. You don't know that, lady. What are you thinking? Oh, is this a daughter-in-law? I'm a little confused. Yeah, that's her dad. That's her dad who died.
In integrity. He spent 35 plus years in law enforcement.
Her last name is Probst. So anyways, let's just finish this.
Honor and integrity. He spent 35 plus years in law enforcement and was a pillar in the community. He was a Little League dad, an honorary member of Girl Scouts, shout out to Troop 149, and he was always there for the various activities we'd get into as a family. His colleagues remember him as a real-life Pee Wee Herman. He was a jokester, a prankster, and always had a way to make you laugh. His death should be treated in the same way he lived, with honor and integrity.
Right on. Taylor Probst, I believe, daughter to Andreas Probst. Those are her comments. And I'm sure we can agree on many things. But it's just a little interesting to me. I mean, maybe she's speaking
with me, guys.
about
This
her
is not
dad
something we've
in a clear way. This is how he would have wanted to speak. But the man's not here to speak for, like, the man's not here to confirm or deny what you're saying here. Okay? Taylor, you're saying this is in no way This was a random act of violence. Don't politicize it. Don't make it about a culture war. And on some level, we can understand that, right? Especially many of us here, looking at life with different eyes. We don't see the value in just politicizing things and yelling about it, taking sides. Okay, but that being said, what happened to Andreas Probst? They're calling him Andy Probst. He's not here to confirm or deny if that's clearly it's a nickname, whatever. But look, what happened to him is not an isolated incident. Okay, random act of violence is not so random anymore. It may be random in its targeting, in its victim, but it's not so. I wouldn't call it I wouldn't call it random in its rarity. You see what I'm saying? In fact, it's particular, not very random. And it usually has a particular perpetrator. Okay, I know all the races commit crime, but let's be real. For her to say, in no way, how does she know that? I'd like to know how she knows this has nothing to do with race and politicizing it, because in reality it doesn't. No one hates out of race. Let's say these teens were riding around, they saw a white guy, said, let's run it over this white guy. Let's just say for a second that was their mentality. At its core, it's not a hatred of white people. It's misplaced anger. Okay? Directed and co-opted and directed. But that being said, this happens. Taylor Probst, this happens. Knockout game, etc. A targeting of whites for whatever reason, could be out of looking more vulnerable. Some were saying that's the reasoning behind the Asian attacks. Well, these Asian people, they walk around more often and they're also more vulnerable or whatever. So, I don't know. She knows that. And it kind of reminds me a little bit about white people in general. Kind of very, very, very willing. You got to appreciate white people in that. I think this knee-jerk reaction to turn to, hey, everybody calm down. It's not racism. It's not nothing like that. It's just random act of violence. Everybody calm down. You got to appreciate that that comes from like this, how these people kind of set up their society as a place of individuals, men leading the place. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's a strength of them. But it's kind of perverted. It's perverted, and now it's this knee-jerk reaction of guilt. And I think it's a little bit of that going on here. You don't need to go out and politicize it and yell, and there might be a time and place for that, but you don't need to go out and politicize it and start a culture war. You can understand that from Taylor. But you don't need to also go around and just go all the way the opposite way. Say it's a random act. It's not about race. Everybody calm down. Nobody bring that up. Shut up. Why not just let that conversation go where it needs to go? Taylor Probst. Because, like I said, this is not rare. It's not random in its rarity. You know what I mean? Hey, cut the damn AC on Nick. Nick looked like he been outside picking cotton all day. Am I sweating, y'all? I might be sweating a little bit. I'm feeling okay, though. I might have rubbed my brow. Nick, is it hot in the room? Everybody's commenting on it. Nick leaking. I'm okay. I'm feeling okay. I think I don't know. I felt if I would feel a bead of sweat, my mind would go, there it goes. Your sweat's starting. And it would create like a negative feedback loop, bringing me to lower levels, deeper levels of sweat. But I don't know. Lately, I'm okay. Like I'm a sweaty guy or whatever, and that's stopped me from being so sweaty. I think I'm now feeling it. Now that you bringing it up, I'm now feeling it a bit. We just got Hake coming in, blasting the AC. Appreciate that. Thank you. But now that I feel it, yeah. Usually this would be kind of hot for me. What can I say, y'all? The anchor baby's growing. I really am growing. I really am changing. Oh my God, God is working on me. I'd feel a bead of sweat, be like, there it goes. The sweat's starting. It's over. I may be maturing, y'all. So anyways, they're calling it a tragedy in Las Vegas. Andreas Probst, I guess, rest in peace. Jeez. I mean, what do you make of this? What are you going to do? It's going to continue until white people can be honest. Right? It's not about politicizing and making it lying or whatever. It's about crime being not being hard on crime, that general climate, defund the police, etc., justifying black anger, etc., and all of that working in tandem, white guilt and white fear, all working in tandem for chaos, okay? So, calling it out a bit, whatever. Look, that's what's going on. Andy. What did I want to say about that? I believe that's all. Thank you, chat. Appreciate that. Hake saw the chat. Nick's not hot. He's just in whatever. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, what else here? We got... What else did I want to say? Nice. All right, y'all. I think that's just a shadow. Thank you, CSS Element. I'm just reading the chat, guys. I'm just reading the chat here in the last few. Anchor babies to men. I'm just reading the chat here in this last few minutes of the show. Hope you've enjoyed the show so far. We'll be back tomorrow for Nick's stream. We'll be flying Anchor Baby Airlines, maybe even Trump Force One tomorrow, 4 p.m. Don't miss it. Should be a nice show. Should be nice and fun. Might even start a little earlier. Got some things in the itinerary for our in-flight entertainment. Anybody who's missed these Friday shows, they're different than what you're watching now. You don't want to miss it. Follow, subscribe, ring that bell. Turn on your notifications so that you don't miss when we go live for Anchor Baby Airlines. But what else here? Russell Brand, we talked about him a bit. It's crazy. The UK government coming out and reaching out to Rumble, X.com, asking them to demonetize Russell Brand out of mere accusations. No trial, no public outcry. None of that's happened. It was just an overnight media campaign. We saw the headlines. The newspapers got printed all over. Russell Brand's face plastered everywhere. Of what, though? Accusations. Out of mere accusations, you got MPs from the UK. Carolyn Dinenage. What the heck kind of name is that? Dinenage? Caroline Dinenage. Dinenage, conservative chair of the Culture, Media, and Sport Committee. The conservative chair of the Culture, Media, and Sport Committee expressed concern that Brand might be able to profit from his content on the platform Rumble. So you got the UK government, British here. She's a British lady. It's a white lady. Saying he's got to be demonetized. Like, think about that on accusations. What else is this but a? What else is this but a hit job? Huh? Frederick, L.A. What's up, man? You're on the air.
What's going on? I got beef with Canada right now, man.
Oh, yeah? Why? What's wrong with Canada?
Yeah,
They're just the nicest guys. Most Americans never say that. Go ahead.
Yeah, they be letting China buy up all their land over there.
Yeah. Dude, so true. I was saying this up there.
Over there. You over there bragging, we keep our nukes over there, and that ain't good.
Well, I wasn't bragging. I'm just saying it just doesn't seem likely like we'd be invading Canada because they agree to all the requests that America makes. So, yeah, I don't see any invasion happening. But so true what you're saying, man. I was saying this when I was up there living in Canada. People were like, "Okay, weirdo. Okay, racist." But yes, the Canadian government.
Yeah, they close a blind eye with all the rich people in Canada, Vancouver. And
Vancouver especially.
Are written from the Chinese.
In fact, the Canadian government facilitates this by basically purely, money, grease the wheels reasons. They facilitate the naturalization of Chinese people. Just handing out these Canadian passports like candy, for money.
You really look at
facilitating Canadian naturalization to further facilitate the buying up of Canadian assets and land. It's just what's happening.
Facts. What are we going to do about it?
Invade Canada, bomb. No, I'm joking.
Look, we got to go after the kosher tax. The kosher tax, they want cheap labor. I'm thinking.
I remember you brought this up. Go on. You saying the kosher tax wants cheap labor? How?
Yeah, they're making all these goods and packaging them over in China with the U stamp and and then they giving kickbacks and everything's kosher in Canada. They got more kosher goods in Canada than regular goods, just like in the United States. But China,
and
they
halal.
playing both hands. Yeah, they're playing both hands.
But what about halal? What about all the
friends.
halal certification going on? Is that its own thing, or is that the same, or is that the two wings of the same bird kind of situation?
Two wings of the same bird. Y'all doing it, we're gonna do it too.
Yeah, we got Halal Gang. I don't know if you ever heard of Halal Gang.
Yeah, that's a Muslim.
Very violent gang in Canada.
Right? Mm-hmm.
But I mean, why don't we go after that? The halal.
Jews can't eat halal or something.
Say that.
Jewish people can't eat.
So what's the connection with labor here? Help me understand.
They putting $4 or $5 on all our food and handling the inflation of America through the Federal Reserve and central banks, and they're getting their money on the back end. All we get is a $1. That dollar goes to 0.78, 1.1. It fluctuates with the stock market. So when they cashing in and regulating the inflation of America to how much money to print, it all goes off of the labor of their goods and how much they're going to profit to keep this whole charade running.
So if I'm following,
I'm trying to figure out the bottom of this kosher tax.
So if I'm following, you got this, can we call it an industry of kosher certification, because they control and are making so much of the food, they're passing down costs like inflation, et cetera, by artificially inflating food costs with this kosher stuff. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Therefore, contributing to inflation, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, and they're making us think.
Tell me if I'm wrong about this.
Cost of living.
Tell me if I'm wrong.
The federal minimum wage is still $7.25.
Yeah.
If it's really inflation.
Interesting. I mean, I never considered it.
They make the money. They print the money. The federal minimum wage should be way more than $7.25 as much as food went up.
I mean, if we're going to consider inflation here, I see what you're saying. But, okay, help me understand something here. Because maybe I'm ignorant about this, but this is what it feels like for me when you talking about this kosher stuff and adding to the inflation. Is it a little bit like, and again, I could be wrong about this, but it feels like, is it a little bit like there's like a burning house, and then there's like a burning shed, and we're out here yelling about the burning shed. It's like, look at this burning shed. Someone's got to put this fire out. Meanwhile, the American government is behind us setting the house on fire.
No,
or is it really that
no.
significant?
No. Y'all all in the house while the roof is on fire with candles at the bottom, helping the house burn, and don't see it's about to burn y'all all up. And this is going to go down as the biggest hoax in history as a kosher tax that the people fell for once I uncovered it, and people be like, whoa, was we really doing that? They ran it for 70 years on this Ponzi scheme.
Are the candles
okay.
Are the candles the kosher tax scheme?
Yeah, no, the candles is Christianity uplifting the people upstairs with the gasoline. Y'all praise him as a
I love our analogies here. We always get into these analogies, and we somehow are making. I think in our minds we're making some sense, but we follow.
We got to speak in code.
we make these analogies when we talk, and they're kind of interesting. Yeah. I find them funny. But here, do you see what I'm saying? It feels like getting. Say again.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it feels like a little bit, and I could be, maybe it's out of ignorance, but it feels a little bit like worried about and yelling about like a little problem when this way bigger problem contributing to the whole thing is at the root of it. Yeah. But it's like, but it's raising alarm of this little fire, which is just a symptom of a drop in the bucket to the big fire.
Fact.
So, so then you agree with me. So you're saying that's true? This is just a drop in the bucket, this kosher stuff?
Oh, this is gonna wake up some people. This will have people like coming out of the house and putting their candles out. Like, because I'm gonna at least get out of this house and blow this candle out because it's getting hot in here. The more I wake up, the hotter it gets.
See that I'm following.
Feel the heat.
Now that analogy I'm following. I got you, man.
So
I mean, we're seeing that.
Get out of the house, we can grab the water hose. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get out of the house before we grab the water hose.
Preach, preacher. Man.
You know what I'm saying? Let me cook.
On that, I mean, what you're saying, we're seeing that demonstrated in different levels with different things. If I'm following what you're saying, the kosher tax, adding, putting strain on inflation and all that. I mean, we're seeing that with different, group welfare. Think about different programs going on with the country. Is that fair to say? Do you see the same thing?
Welfare funds that they want to promote more of this stuff. All that Similac and WIC, that's kosher. So they make sure they get theirs off the rip. That's guaranteed money in their pockets. They're not worried about welfare and who gets that. You're going to pay that back.
Oh, gotcha.
That's
okay,
guaranteed.
Gotcha.
See, you got to look at the big picture.
But it felt like you were focusing on the little picture, on the kosher tax.
No,
but I see now you're saying this kosher thing, it's happening with many different things, and is one example.
Yeah.
All right, I got you, man.
This might be the one thread that pulls that unravels the blanket. That other guy tried to jack my religion. I should have asked him to get more into it, but it sounded like he was jacking my religion. The guy Hank had.
You're saying he jacked your religion? What do you mean? You talking about the guest that Hank Report had on?
What was it? 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎? Yeah, he said it's real close, or they debate sometimes if it's close to the ancient Egyptian one, or if it came from.
He did. I must have missed that part. I'm meaning to go back and watch it again because there's parts I missed. Okay. What was he saying about Pharaoh? What was he saying something about Egyptians? What was he saying? What was he saying?
The Sahara Desert used to be green, but that's in Africa too. He's gonna try to go way before that. Maybe Atlantis and Nukes or something. I don't know, but he's just all over the place. I was trying to pinpoint him down, but he seems like he's an intellectual.
Maybe a little bit. What'd you think about?
Yeah.
What'd you think about his take on, in general, on why white people have become kind of like losers in their country, and what he was saying about, and his commentary on people, I guess, hating Jews, for example, and all that. What do you think about that? All that.
He's beige. He's a wannabe, man. He's playing a role like he's cool with them people and like, I'm going to join them. If you can't beat them, join them tight. He tried to act like women are some type of important people, and they was the reason for affirmative action, but they just struck that down. Women ain't really got the power that he claims that these people in charge are trying to divide us against. Maybe the LGBTQ got a little power, but it's a bunch of distractions. But the women are the same people that's working these jobs or fighting with unions and want the same rights average people got. They ain't getting no more than the average man's getting these days. So all of that fighting with women stuff needs to go out the door, and that's not even a thing. I mean, we have certain groups like Black Lives Matter with the wrong agenda. A lot of people hop on board, but I think majority of America know what's going on. They need to know what's going on. They don't, but they need to. The house is on fire, Nick.
Totally, man. Interesting stuff. Appreciate your call. I rather enjoyed that guest. I think he called himself Deep Left, but he was
Deep Left.
Right, but he seemed a lot more level-headed and clear thinking than a lot of people.
Yeah,
so
if he can
I definitely
go to the
appreciate
hood
it.
and mine some talent, he will. He's a talent seeker, so he can capitalize on that type of stuff. He knows if you got stuff on you know how to clean up your Facebook, get all the anti-Semitic stuff off, and then the board will write you, if you got this look, then we can put you in Hollywood type. And they just going to profit off of you and throw you away when you're done. He's looking for court gestures. That's how they get rich. Anybody that's entertained, check TikToks. And,
I wish I could comment more. I got to watch it again. Definitely watch it. Everybody at home, hakereport.com. He had a guest on today, Thursday, the 21st. It was a good show.
Yeah. All right, Nick, I had to give you a call.
No problem, man.
You have a good one.
Right on, sir. Call me again.
Dream tomorrow, you flying the plane?
Oh, yeah.
All right, is Ivana still hired or did you fire her? I want you to hire her back.
No, Ivana. No, Ivana's great. Ivana's great. It was her first day. We're good though.
All right, that's right.
We're equal opportunity employee over here at Anchor Baby Airlines, and we give people chances.
That's right. All right, yeah. Have a good one.
Thank you, Frederick. Call me again. All right, y'all. I hope you had fun. We got into some stuff, whatever. Anyways, y'all, that's the show. All right? We're going to sign off here. We got more American Anchor Baby tomorrow in the form of Anchor Baby Airlines, Nick Stream. We're flying high tomorrow, but not on pot. I swear. That Jesse says that so much. You know, he's like, I swear, guys. I swear he's not on drugs. All right, y'all. Appreciate the show. Appreciate the viewers, the super chats, and the calls. We'll do more of it tomorrow. Thank you, Being Enlightened Till I Rise over there on Rumble. My supporter there. Squeeze out the 5% afternoon, Nick. Well, afternoon back at you, Being Enlightened Till I Rise. Hope to see you tomorrow and everybody else on the show. Taking a flight around 4 p.m. Don't miss it. What else can I say to y'all? I think that's all. I shall sign out one final time here. Peace, y'all. Catch you tomorrow. Oh, we got Lil Nick. Hey, Lil Nick, can you say bye to the people? Bye, y'all. Goodbye. Bye. Have a beautiful time.